Okay, so your clothes are about to get a lot smarter. And no, I'm not talking about some new fashion app on your phone. I'm talking about fabrics that can actually think, adapt, and react to your body and the world around you. And this isn't just about feeling a little more comfortable. This could change, well, pretty much everything. Just think about this for a second. What if you could walk out of a freezing cold, air-conditioned office right into the blistering summer heat? And instead of that awful shock, your shirt just adjusts. Or maybe on a freezing day, your jacket gets just a little bit warmer as the temperature drops. I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? But this is the very real future of our clothes.
Now, you'd probably guess this kind of tech comes from some high fashion lab in Paris or Milan. But the real origin story, well, it's literally written in the stars. It all started in the most extreme environment you can possibly imagine.
So let's rewind to the 80s. NASA had a huge problem on their hands. Literally. See, during spacewalks, astronauts' hands were getting dangerously cold, but the bulky gloves they needed for warmth made it pretty much impossible to do any delicate work. The solution they came up with was so elegant, so brilliant, that it eventually found its way from outer space into all of our closets. Okay, so what was the secret ingredient? It's a bit of a mouthful. Phase change materials, or PCMs for short. The easiest way to think about them is like millions of tiny, microscopic thermal batteries woven right into the fabric of your clothes. When you get hot, they soak up and store that heat, and when you get cold, you guessed it, they release that heat right back to you. It's such a simple but absolutely brilliant way to keep your body at that perfect temperature.
Of course, a technology this good couldn't just stay in space. It was eventually licensed and commercialized under a brand you might even recognize, Outlast. And that was the moment when this incredible space-age tech literally came down to earth and walked straight into our closets.
And you know what's wild? You've probably already used this stuff without even realizing it. We're talking high-performance ski jackets and gloves, super cozy bedding and pillows, even the shoes on your feet. So this isn't some far-off futuristic concept. It's proven tech that's been quietly keeping us all comfortable for years now.
But, just passively storing and releasing heat, that's really just chapter one of the story. The next generation of smart fabrics, they're way more active. They can actually feel what's happening to your body and react in real time.
Yeah, companies like HiQ are developing fabrics with something they call intelligent thermoregulation. So instead of just passively storing heat, these new fabrics have a dynamic system that can actively cool you down, responding directly to your body heat and, yeah, your sweat.
So how does it actually work? Well, it's pretty cool. As your body heats up and you start to sweat, these special polymers woven into the fabric sense that moisture and just spring into action. They kickstart this rapid evaporation effect, which pulls heat away from your skin and cools you down. But here's the really clever part. The second you're cool and dry again, the whole process just shuts itself off. It's basically like having a built-in automatic air conditioner in your shirt. And this isn't just a feeling, you can actually measure the results. We're talking about a fabric temperature that can be up to 2.5 degrees Celsius cooler. That's about 4.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but trust me, when you're in the middle of an intense workout, that little bit makes a huge difference in your comfort and performance.
Okay, so active cooling is one thing, but what if a single fabric could both heat and cool you without any complex electronics or polymers at all? Well, some researchers are working on a solution that is so brilliantly simple, it's just as revolutionary.
The concept is almost deceptively simple. It's a single piece of clothing with two modes, one for heating, one for cooling. And how do you switch between them? You just turn it inside out. That's it.
Right. So how on earth does that work? The secret is in a very thin, two-sided core inside the fabric. One side is made of carbon and the other is copper. And this whole core is wrapped in a special material that's designed to let the infrared heat from your body pass right through it. See, the two sides have completely opposite jobs. The dark, matte carbon side, it's awesome at radiating heat away from your body, kind of like a heat sink. But the shiny copper side is like a mirror for your body heat, reflecting it right back at you to keep you nice and warm. So you get it, right? If you're feeling hot, you wear the black carbon side facing out. It acts like a tiny radiator, just pushing your body heat away. Feeling cold? You just flip it. Now that shiny copper side is facing your skin and it acts like a personal thermal blanket, reflecting your own body heat right back where you want it. The impact of this one simple flip is absolutely incredible. We're talking about a single fabric that can expand your personal comfort zone by about 6.5 degrees Celsius. That's nearly 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Just imagine feeling perfectly comfortable in a much, much wider range of temperatures, all without ever having to touch a thermostat.
So we've talked about passive storage and active cooling, but what if your clothes could just react automatically without you ever having to think about it or flip anything inside out? Well, that's the next frontier. Truly intelligent, fully autonomous fabrics.
And this quote here from Professor Ray Bongman really hits the nail on the head. He says that for a fabric to be truly adaptive, it has to control two things at the same time. How breathable it is, that's its porosity, and how much of your body heat it lets escape. And guess what? That's exactly what this next generation of fabrics is designed to do. The key idea here is something called gating. So researchers have developed these special yarns coated in carbon nanotubes. When you're cool and dry, the fibers in the yarn are all spread out, and that traps heat. But the moment you start to sweat, the moisture makes those fibers bunch up really tight. This opens up little pores or gates that let heat and radiation just pour out, cooling you down automatically. No thought required. And another really cool path forward is biomimicry, basically just learning from nature. You know how a pigeon fluffs up its feathers to stay warm? Well, researchers have been inspired by that to create soft robotic clothing. Tiny little actuators in the fabric actually expand when it gets cold, making the fabric fluff up to trap more air and insulate you better, just like a bird. So all of this technology is incredibly cool, both literally and figuratively, but the potential impact here goes way, way beyond just our personal comfort. This could have a absolutely massive effect on our planet's energy consumption. Get this, in the United States alone, a staggering 12% of all energy is used just for heating and cooling buildings. Just think about that. What if instead of heating and cooling entire
entire massive buildings, we could just control the temperature of the tiny space right around our own bodies. The energy savings would be astronomical. This stops being about personal comfort and starts being a powerful tool for fighting climate change. And yeah, you can bet the market is ready to explode. Just look at this chart. We're talking a projected leap from about $8 billion in 2025 all the way to nearly $87 billion by 2034. That's more than a 10 times increase in under a decade. And that growth is going to be driven by everything from sports and healthcare to defense and, yep, eventually our everyday clothes. Which really leaves us with one final big question, doesn't it? For the last century, we've been trying to control the temperature of our environment to suit our bodies. But with these new technologies, we are on the verge of flipping that equation completely. We're going to let our clothes adapt to the environment for us. The future of comfort, it's not in your wall thermostat, it's hanging in your wardrobe.